We were just messing around, then he ended up on top and something shifted. He didn't move and neither did I. That moment changed everything, waving hand. Welcome to my hidden gay chronicles, where real feelings meet raw tension. If you've ever wanted something you weren't supposed to want, stay, this one's for you. I swear it started off dumb. Normal Thursday night, nothing planned. Takeout music, me and Arthur chilling in the apartment. He wasn't just my roommate, Arthur was complicated built. Like a football player, tattoos inked down both arms, always half-dressed. He was the kind of guy who walked into a room and made you forget your sentence. The worst part, he had no idea what he did to me. That night he chucked a pillow at me while I was scrolling. I threw it back, he lunged across the couch and we wrestled like kids, except we weren't kids. He ended up straddling me, body pressed against mine, and for a second it was still funny until it wasn't. His breath changed. His arm stopped flexing, he froze, he looked down at me, face inches away, searching like he was trying to see if I noticed. I noticed everything, the way his thigh fit between mine, the heat of his chest against mine, and yes, there was something pressing into me, impossible to ignore. It wasn't an accident. He said nothing, just stared, still breathing hard from the play fight, but quieter now, like he was waiting for me to move him, waiting for me to push him off, but I didn't. I just stared back, my heart pounding so loudly I was sure he could hear it. He must have seen it in my face, because something in his eyes softened. His grip at my wrists loosened, but he didn't shift, neither did I. I should get off, he whispered. He didn't move, and I didn't tell him to. I could feel his breath on my lips, the slight tremor in his body, like he was terrified I might reject him, or worse, like he was terrified I might say yes. Don't, I said quietly. He blinked. Don't get off, I whispered again. I wasn't drunk, I wasn't confused, I was just done pretending. I didn't want him, done acting like sharing a room with him didn't drive me insane, done pretending I didn't dream about this exact moment every damn night. His face moved closer, my skin lit up, his forehead touched mine. Feather light, he still hadn't moved off me. That pressure, that heat, it was all still there. I shifted under him and his breath hitched like he felt it too, like it was driving him as crazy as it drove me. You feel that? He asked softly. I nodded. Too big? He asked almost playfully. I smirked. Maybe, I said. But I want it. We didn't kiss, not yet. We just lay there, tangled, heavy, and full of whatever was building between us. Not friendship, not just attraction, something else, something dangerous, something beautiful. For the first time since moving in with him, I didn't want to escape it. I wanted more. That moment didn't end with a kiss. It didn't need one. He finally rolled off me slow, like he didn't really want to. Before I could say anything, before I could even sit up, he turned to face me on the couch. Why didn't you stop me? He asked. His voice was quiet, but there was weight to it, like he was bracing for regret. My heart still thudded in my chest. I looked at him and told the truth. I didn't want to. He said nothing, no laugh, no nervous joke. He just watched me like he was seeing me for the first time. There was no pretending now, no going back. The air between us stayed thick, like the room itself was holding its breath. Then he said it. Can I stay in your bed tonight? Just like that, no games, no teasing. He meant it, like he didn't want his own room across the hall, like he didn't want space between us anymore. I swallowed and nodded. We walked to my room without speaking. The hallway felt longer than it ever had. My heart pounded like a warning drum, but I wasn't afraid. I felt alive. He pulled off his hoodie the moment we stepped inside, dropping it on my floor, like he'd done it 100 times before. This time felt different. I watched him do it, really watched. His back was broad, skin warm and golden in the lamp's soft light. He didn't turn around right away. Maybe he was scared, maybe I was too. He sat on the edge of my bed in a tank top and boxers. I climbed in beside him. Neither of us looked at the other at first. I stared at the ceiling. He stared at the floor. The silence between us wasn't empty, it was full of heat, questions, everything we hadn't Said he turned first and lay down. Beside me, too close but not close. Enough. His leg brushed mine, I didn't move. Then his fingers, slow and unsure, touched my arm barely, like he was asking without words, "Can I touch you? Like this, is this okay?" he whispered. I let him. I leaned into it, his fingers slid from my shoulder to my wrist and back again, gentle, almost nervous, like he'd never done this with a guy before. Maybe he hadn't, but God, it felt like he wanted to. "Can I tell you something?" he murmured, voice cracking. "Yeah," I breathed. "I think I've been pretending for too long," he said, pushing it down, not letting myself feel this. My chest tightened. I wanted to say me too, but I couldn't get the words out without everything spilling over. Instead, I reached for his hand. Our fingers slid together as if we'd done it in another life. He exhaled long and shaky, like he'd been waiting for that touch forever. I turned to face him. He was so close I could make out every line of his face. Even in the dark, his eyes searched mine. Again, not asking permission this time, just needing reassurance that I wanted this, that I wanted him, and I did. God, I did. He shifted, pressing his chest to mine. One leg slipped between mine, and that same pressure from earlier returned, thicker, warmer, pulsing against me. "It's happening again," he whispered. "Yeah," I said, a little breathless. "I feel it," he laughed quietly into my neck, half embarrassed, and then grew still. "You're not going to push me away?" he asked. I shook my head. "I told you," I said, barely audible, "I want it." He didn't kiss me. Not yet. He buried his face in my neck and stayed there, breathing me in, holding me tighter, and in that moment, the rest of the world felt far away. No labels, no questions, just us, two guys in one bed, touching, wanting, not hiding anymore. I didn't sleep much that night, not because he was beside me, but because I didn't want the night to end. For the first time since we moved in, he was close, and for the first time in my life, so as I. Morning light came in. Soft. I don't know the time, early maybe, and but everything felt lighter except my chest, that still felt heavy. Arthur was still there, still in my bed under the same blanket, warm against my side, like nothing had changed, except everything had. His arm lay across my stomach as if it had been there forever. Our legs were tangled and his breathing was slow, steady. I stayed still for a long time, staring at the ceiling, trying to figure out what it all meant. Was it just one night? Would he pretend none of it happened? Would I, before I could spiral? He stirred, his arm tightened around me a little, his fingers curling in the fabric of my shirt. His voice was low and rough from sleep. "You're still here?" he asked. "You're still holding me?" I whispered back. He smirked, sleep heavy in his eyes. "Yes, I am." We stared at each other, awkward and amazed, like we'd woken up in a world we didn't quite recognize but didn't want to leave. He didn't move his hand, not from my shirt, not from me. "You didn't dream it, right?" he asked. I shook my head. "No," I said. "You were really in my bed, really on top of me, really close." His eyes flickered and I felt him tense beneath the covers. "Oh," he said quietly, "so you noticed?" I looked down, then back up. I felt everything. He didn't laugh it off, he didn't pull away. He looked at me differently now, like he'd already tasted the idea of being with me and was trying to figure out if I wanted it again or if I regretted it. "I don't regret a single second," I told him. "Can I ask you something?" he said. He nodded when I looked at him. "Was last night just something you needed to get out of your system?" He blinked, sat up a little serious. "No," he said, "it wasn't that." "So what was it?" I asked. He really looked at me, then searching. "It was something I've been fighting for too long. I just couldn't fight it anymore. I let that hang between us. Then said the one thing I hadn't been able to say the night before. I wanted it too, every second of it." His jaw tightened, not with anger but with relief. Then he moved closer, closer than last night, closer than I thought I was ready for, yet somehow exactly what I wanted. His hand slid under my shirt, resting at my bare waist, his thumb stroking slowly, lightly. "You still want it?" he whispered. I didn't answer with words. I leaned in. Our lips didn't crash, they barely even met, but when they did, I caught fire. His lips were soft, careful, but his hand on my waist was firm like he was holding back everything he felt. I kissed him once. Then again, he pulled back just an inch. Still too much for you, he teased. I smiled. I told you I want it, don't make me beg. His eyes darkened, not with anger but hunger, the tension that had followed us since the night before. It snapped. He moved on top of me, smooth, deliberate. My breath caught as his weight pressed down, not like a mistake, not like confusion. This time it was real. My hand slipped under his shirt, exploring his warmth, chest, stomach, sides. He closed his eyes at my touch, his voice unsteady. I've never done this before, not like this. I kissed his neck, then we'll go slow. He lowered himself, our bodies fitting together like they were always meant to. Yes, he was big, and yes, I wanted it, every inch, every breath, every part of him. But the wildest part wasn't the heat, it was the way he held me, the way he looked at me like he'd wanted me for years. Like I was the only one, like I was home. The sheets slid halfway off the bed, our shirts vanished somewhere too. The floor, I don't even remember when. All I remember was his breath on my skin, his hands mapping me like he was memorized every detail, and the way he whispered my name like he'd been waiting years just to say it that way. We didn't rush, it wasn't about the urgency. Though the air was thick with it, it was about something else, something tender. He touched me like I was breakable, and I'd never been held so carefully in my life. His lips traced my collarbone, my jaw back again. Every time he left my skin, I felt cold. Every time he came back, I felt high. I looked up at him. This man who had only been my roommate, my friend, now here he was, skin on skin, hovering over me, his eyes locked on mine. I don't know what I'm doing, he whispered. I brushed his cheek with my fingers. You're doing just fine, just stay with me. He kissed me again, deeper this time, but then something shifted. He stopped moving, forehead pressed to mine, breathing uneven, body heavy but suddenly distant. You okay? I asked. He nodded, but I knew better. Arthur. He rolled onto his side but stayed close. One leg still tangled with mine, one hand still pressed over my chest. I've never done this, he said softly. Not just physically, I mean emotionally. With a guy I always wanted to. He trailed off. I waited, his eyes stayed fixed on the ceiling. I pushed it down. For so long, pretended it wasn't real. Dated girls, slept around, but this you. It's not just sex, and that terrifies me. My throat tightened. I turned to face him and grabbed his hand, holding it tight. I'm not just looking for sex either, I said. I want you to want me. Like this, like now, like it matters. His jaw clenched. I do. The silence that followed wasn't awkward, it was thick, heavy, real, like we'd crossed some invisible line, and neither of us wanted to go back. He looked at me again. Different this time, softer, steadier, more sure. Without a word, he pulled me close, wrapped an arm around my waist, and drew me into his chest. He spooned me, and for the first time all night, he relaxed. His hands slid under the blanket, resting against my stomach, slow, patient, warm. He murmured, kissing the back of my neck. You feel incredible. I exhaled, my body loosened into his. I've never wanted anyone like this, he added. Those words did something to me. Made my breath catch, my heart ache, my whole body feel like it was burning from the inside out, because I felt it too. He pressed against me fully, skin to skin. That familiar pressure returned. Thick, warm, impossible to ignore, but there was no showmanship this time. He wasn't performing, he was simply there. Real, vulnerable, wanting. I didn't pull away, I didn't tense, I let him stay firm and honest against me. I wanted it. All of it. He kissed the top of my shoulder and held me tighter. Then in the dark, with his lips near my ear, he whispered the words that flipped everything inside me. I think I've been in love with you since the week we moved in. I closed my eyes, the room stilled like time froze around us. I whispered back, finally stopping the fight. I woke to the feeling of him breathing on my neck, still there, still in my bed, still wrapped around me like we belonged that way. His arm lay heavy and warm across my stomach, his thigh draped over mine, the weight of his chest pressed gently against my back like a promise. It wasn't sunlight that woke me, it was him still holding me, still Real for a second I didn't move, I just listened to the rhythm of his breath, slow, deep, safe, his fingers shifted on my shirt, even in sleep, not wanting to let go, like even dreaming. He knew I was his. I turned my head slightly. Arthur, I whispered. He stirred behind me, voice thick with sleep. You're still here. He pulled me closer, lips brushing the back of my shoulder. Not going anywhere. My throat caught, not because of the words but the way he said them, quiet. Sure, like he meant them with his whole chest. Maybe I needed that more than I knew. We lay there a long time, no rush, no panic, just skin on skin, hearts trying to sink. Then he shifted, gently rolled me onto my back, eyes half-lidded with sleep. His body hovered above mine. Again, familiar now but no less intense. I meant what I said last night, he whispered. I know, I answered. I'm still scared. I know that too. He leaned down, kissed my chest, slow and deliberate, and rested his cheek there. For a moment, I've never told anyone how I feel before, not like this. You don't have to tell anyone else, I whispered. Just don't stop telling me. He looked up, raw and vulnerable, eyes bright. I used to think love had to be hidden, like it was a weakness, but being with you, he paused, searching. It feels like the only thing that makes me stronger. My eyes burned. Nobody had ever said that to me. Nobody had ever made me feel like my touch or my love could fix someone. Right then I felt it. Like I was his safe place. He kissed me again. This time it wasn't careful. It was slow, yes, but full of wanting. Hunger for everything he'd buried inside himself for years. His hand slid down my side, gripped my hip, pulled me closer. He was hard again, pressing into me like gravity, but it wasn't only sexual. It was need, a deep aching need that said, I need all of you, not just your body. I need to be inside your world. I let him be close. I let him press against me, grind slow. I let him feel how I responded, how my breath caught, how I held him tighter, how I wanted this. Fully awake, fully sober, and fully mine. You feel that? He whispered, forehead against mine. Yeah, I breathed. Okay with this? He asked. I nodded. I want you here like this, just don't pull away. He didn't. He stayed, rocking gently, kissing me like I was the only thing that existed, whispering my name like it was sacred. I didn't just let him inside my room, I let him inside my heart. That scared me more than anything. Because if he left, I wouldn't just miss his touch, I'd miss the way he looked at me, like I was worth staying for. But he didn't leave, not that morning, not when we finally got out of bed, not when we drank coffee in the same clothes we'd fallen asleep in. He didn't flinch, hide, or run. He kept looking at me like he was still discovering me and liking every part he found. We didn't label it. We didn't announce it, but that day I knew he was mine and I was his. 3 days passed, 3 nights in my bed. 3 mornings of soft kisses and sleepy smiles. 3 quiet days that felt like we were suspended in something too delicate to name. We still hadn't talked about what we were, but we didn't do. Not when he kept reaching for my hand under the table, not when he leaned into me on the couch like gravity pulled him there, not when he looked at me like he already knew this wasn't going to fade. It wasn't just heat anymore, it was something softer. The way he brought me coffee without asking, the way he rested his chin on my shoulder when I cooked breakfast, the way he watched me with a kind of focus that made my chest ache. And then something happened I didn't see coming. We had people over, just a couple friends from campus, laughing, eating, passing around beers. It should have been nothing, but having him across the room surrounded by people who didn't know, it made me nervous. Would he pull away? Would he act like nothing had happened? I sat there in silence, trying not to want too much. And then it happened. One of the guys made a dumb joke about dating, about how Arthur could pull anyone he wanted. Everyone laughed, but Arthur didn't. He looked at me, not panicked, not scared. He looked at me like he was choosing. And then he said it, actually, I'm kind of seeing someone. The room went quiet. Noah grinned. Oh yeah, who's the lucky girl? Arthur didn't even blink. He's sitting right there. The world stopped. My breath hitched. Everyone turned, and Arthur just smiled, calm, soft, proud. Like it was the easiest thing in the Whirled to say like he wanted them to know what I already knew, that I was his. And he was mine. After everyone left, he wrapped his arms around me in the kitchen. "You okay?" he asked. I nodded. "You didn't have to do that." "I know," he said. "I wanted to." "Why?" Now I asked. He smiled. "Because I'm not hiding anymore, not from them, not from you, not from myself." I kissed him slow, deeper than before, and whispered, "You have no idea what that meant to me." He pressed his forehead to mine. "I think I do," he said, "because it meant everything to me too." That night we didn't rush. We didn't tease or play, we just held each other face to face, his fingers brushing my cheek like he was grounding himself there, and in the dark with only our breathing between us, he whispered, "One last thing, I want this. I want you, not just now, not just when it's easy. I want to fall asleep like this every night, wake up beside you, fight, make up, laugh, and grow old and stupid together." I choked out a laugh as a tear slipped down my cheek. "I want that too." We didn't need a label, we didn't need a title, we just needed the truth. And in that bed, in the safety of his arms, I realized something. He may have started out on top of me, but in the end he landed right in the center of my heart, and I never wanted him to leave. Not then, not now, not ever. If this story touched you, don't forget to subscribe to Hidden Gay Chronicles, where real emotions, forbidden desires, and brave love come to life. Because sometimes the love you're scared to admit is the one that changes everything. Like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more interesting gay stories. Thanks for watching my video.